Okay, so just very few words. Like my colleague Michal was presenting at GDS, and he kind of found this tradition of having like a talk that actually fits within half of the planned time. So I'm gonna continue with this tradition and be super fast. I really love that we are here in a small group, like anonymous alcoholics. So, and I want to start like that. So I'm Filip, and I do games for some 13 years right now, 14 maybe. As many of you too. So, very briefly, some of my background. I was actually starting somewhere 2003 or 2, or I don't know, at a company called Tentacle Studios in Slovakia. Some of you may remember a game called Albion, which was never published. It happens. Yeah, so and after that, from that whole frustration, so with a couple of guys from the company, we founded Pixel Federation. So my colleagues in Slovakia will be having the next presentation, and that was eventually becoming a success. So today Pixel is something like 200 people, big company. I left it 2013-14 to get ready for new challenges, because I felt I need to just exercise more. And I had like a few stops on the journey, which was like a small company, Fun to Robots. Then I was in a Czech company, which is called Jiva here in Prague, for a few months. And then we founded Chart Monkey. So now I became a monkey officially. There is like 11 monkeys, and we are working on our next game, which is called What the Hen, but we're going to talk about it later. But besides that, and the purpose why I'm now, boring you here with my speech, is that we founded, and with a few guys, a game dev hub here in Prague, which is a creative space for game development, which was kind of my dream since the very early stages of game development, and looking at this whole startup vibe as we are today here in the Startup Center Prague. So like everybody was doing these co-working spaces and incubators and shit like that, and I thought like we need something like that for game development. And finally, and maybe the story how it came about was there's like two sides. One is pragmatic, one is romantic. So the romantic part was like, yeah, I want to create a hub. I want people to meet. I want people to share knowledge and so on, because I felt it's necessary. And on the other side, it was pragmatic because back in April 2015, so it's something more than a year ago, year and a half ago, we were looking for some office space for ourselves, for the monkeys. And basically, we hooked up with another CEO from another game company called Mingle Games, and he's Vlado. And he said like, yeah, that's a great idea, let's do it. So we joined forces, and he convinced then another guy from CEO and founder of About Fun, also a game development studio, which is actually the oldest one from all three studios. And Petr was also like, yeah, let's do it together. So that's where we are today, basically, right? So how it happened, I'm a kind of a fan of the motto, lead by example, which means like when I want to preach something and tell people you should do this and that and so on, so I should be the first one to actually show that by my own example. So I earned some money in game development, and I thought like it would be great, to get this money then back to the game dev ecosystem and make it grow, right? Because I thought like, maybe I can invest in some other startups, or maybe I can, I don't know, be a sponsor of some NGOs doing great stuff, for people and for the good. But then I thought like, if I understand something and it makes sense to do, and invest money and time into it, it will be the game dev ecosystem. Because I really believe like games and gaming and gamification is like part of our DNA, and that's something that we can use to grow and be better mankind. This was like a American style pitch. So basically, why we did this, like in Slovakia, in Bratislava, we also have this initiative, and we are doing meetups since I think 2012, so it's actually the 5th year of meetups that we do in Bratislava every month. And basically the history of that was really also something that I experienced by myself, because there were like many game devs in Bratislava, but we, in one small city, which is not even the half of Prague, we didn't know each other. So there were like, companies all over the place, people doing some games, but no one knew about the other guys, and that was a real problem. And also, I saw that at our own company, as Pixel back in the time, like we don't know what's going on out there, right? We were like in our small kind of garage, and actually not attending any conferences, not sharing know-how. We didn't know what's going on basically. And after this whole vibe about startups, kept coming and growing. So we found out like yeah, we should probably do the same stuff. And we're meeting people and starting to expand our network. And you would get feedback, you would get some contacts, you would get some opportunities, and that felt great. It felt like back in the times it was like really like a anonymous alcoholics. I'm doing games, You were like, oh, get out. Oh, you smell. Oh. But now it's becoming mainstream, so it's like the whole movement, the whole vibe is growing, so it's really great. And that's why actually we started doing these meetups, because people tend to, maybe like many of you know these kind of stories, like yeah, I'm working on a game and it's great, and you say like, yeah, okay, come on, show it to me. No, I can't, it's secret, and you would steal my idea, and all that bullshit, which is actually nonsense, because any given idea you have for a game, you can be sure like there is 1,000 other companies working on the same idea right now, and most of them are like much farther than you are. And out of these 1,000 companies or individuals, maybe hundreds will actually get that idea to a certain stage. Maybe 10 will publish that game, and maybe 1 will succeed with that, right? So there's really no point. And actually, if you see that called game business from the other side, let's say like publishers or big companies, then you actually know like this kind of game idea that I'm pitching right now to somebody else. There's like 20 other studios working on a similar kind of game, right? So it's not really a point in keeping something secret. And actually at Pixel we went so far that if you're gonna visit the company someday, and I guess anybody is welcome to knock on the door and see like what's happening. There's like big screens on the walls, and you see like the running revenues from all the games that Pixel is operating. You see number of users and anything. So everything is there on display, because there is no point in keeping this data secret, right? So the more I'm gonna share today, the more it's gonna come back to me tomorrow, and that's exactly what we're gonna do, right? So the motto of Game Dev Hub is meet, connect, and share, right? So first of all, we have to meet together, right? Like here, we have to connect with each other, and then we can share, and we shall share knowledge, because it makes sense. It makes us grow, it makes us better, right? So, and the question is, one of the points why we are doing the Game Dev Hub, because when I started being part of the startup scene and evaluating projects and co-investing into projects and so on, companies and so on, the question for myself, and also like experiencing the big success with Pixel, was like, what does it take to succeed, right? What's the essence of it? How can I make sure that right now this game or that company or whoever is going to succeed, right? Is there some secret sauce, or what is it, right? Do I have to smoke weed every day to get great ideas? And the answer is, I don't know. And maybe many people say like the essence of success is luck, right? But if you hear someone saying that, that's fucking a noob. He doesn't know everything about the world and how it works, because it just looks, from the outside like it's just a matter of luck. But if you take it into like small pieces, what is luck? Luck is actually hard work, which makes you ready for a opportunity to take, right? So if I'm from the outside, it looks like someone was lucky because someone was, at the right time, at the right space, and so on. But being at the right time, right space means like right place means like you have to actually know that there is something going on, where you have to be, and so on and so on. You have to. There is like millions and billions of opportunities out there, that are within our reach. But if you don't know about those opportunities, you can never reach out for them. So many times I get the question like from especially small devs, and that's what we do at the Game Dev Hub. We support small game developers like our studio, like Mingle Games, like Balfun. I'm telling these guys like there is no such way like luck. There is just hard work, and there is network, contacts, and opportunities that you have to get ready to take on, right? So if you need to succeed, then the only way how to do it is these three essences basically. And the luck is just a matter of hard work and opportunity. And this is really something that I got kind of obsessed with: how to raise chances of success, how you can help others to succeed. And if I loop it back to what I was saying, so it's basically meet, connect, and share. And that's our motto as the Game Dev Hub. So how it works, I think maybe you can ask, there's a few people from the Game Dev Hub around us. So I think it works pretty well because we are sharing not just know-how, we are not sharing just network and connections, do you know someone from Google? Google Play team? Yeah, I know, here's the address. Just write the guy. And like a small studio will never get the chance to write someone directly at the Google Play team or contact someone from Apple and so on. But as we got the contact, someone has the contact here, there, we can share it and we can push it. That's one part. The other part of sharing is also sharing know-how, how things work, what can you try, how can you improve it. The other part is sharing people, actually. The other part is actually what we did was like training people for each other around the teams. So I think it works really fine. So enough of that. I just wanted to emphasize this fact, and this is kind of like my message and call to action to all of you here. Like, guys, don't be shy, and there are no secrets basically, right? There's nothing you have to keep for yourself. Just be open and share, and that's the way and the contribution how we can become better game developers. Okay, so and as Pavel was mentioning, we celebrated recently like 1 year of Game Dev Hub. Actually, at the end of September, October, something like that. So we had a nice party and we got drunk, so as game developers do all the time. Other things that I want to praise is České, of course, because we are partnering with České and we appreciate that. We are also getting involved and in touch with, let's say, Matfis, with Jakub Gerald, and others that are, part of the game dev community. And the point is, and that's my take on it, I'm trying to support the game dev ecosystem from one side, but the game dev ecosystem will grow only because it's an ecosystem. It will only grow if we support all the parts, right? So we need to support the schools, so there's people who are educated, and when they leave the schools, once they graduate, they know how to work on games, they know what game development is about. So one side, we have to get in touch with government, and maybe here in Prague, like with mayor and so on, which you see is already happening because we are at the Startup Center Prague. And of course, as the game dev community, we have to unite as well. It's not just us here meeting, but it's also like big companies that have to get involved and also support the ecosystem so it grows. So I think Prague is a really nice city and really great city for this because they're coming, like people coming, from east, from west. It's very attractive, so it's really, really great opportunity to get something started here. So maybe really briefly and roughly, so the studios, if you don't know them, it's About Fun, which is the oldest studio. They're working on 2 games, which is Tiny Miners, that was featured by Apple 2 weeks ago. We got something like over 1 million downloads, just like that, over a week. Then it's Warfriends. It's a great game, tactical shooter, very unique. They're working with Chilingo, publishing that game. Then it's Mingle Games who do the Connect 3 game called Call Me Leah. It's a very nice thing. It's featured in the App Store right now. And then it's us, like the monkeys, the evil monkeys with our game What the Hen. We are not featured. Yet.
We don't know that.
Yeah. We are self-featured on Android. Yeah. So, and I want to thank you also, Pavel, for inviting us for the GDS. So we had a booth and we're representing the Game Dev Hub games at GDS. Had a nice show, a nice time there, so we thank you for that. And last but not least, I want to thank you everybody for coming to this meetup and to other meetups, which is really great. And as I said, my call on you is meet, connect, and share. Thank you.